Hey, DNA Strand crew, TJ here from the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be going over our post NFL draft, wide receiver and quarterback buys. Should be a killer episode. Join us, won't you?
Welcome to the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast, where we talk Dynasty Fantasy Football, fantasy rankings, and everything NFL. Join us and dominate your Dynasty league. It's in your DNA. And here's your host, TJ Blake.
Welcome back, DNA Strand crew. Yes, I'm the host of the Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Podcast, TJ Blake. You can find me on Twitter at TJBlakeDNA. And as always, we're joined by our show architect and co-host, the A-Train Andy Blake. You can follow him over on Twitter at FFATrainDNA. How you doing today, Ann?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. And next in the line of order, we got the producer and co-host Ty Blake. You can find him on Twitter at DynastyDNA. Ty, how you doing today, Ty?
Pretty good. What's going on?
We're doing good. And last but not least, it's everyone's favorite buy. It's Muscles Ryan Mail. You can find him on Twitter at DynastyDNA Mus. How you doing today, Mus?
Not too bad. What's happening?
Oh, we're doing good. I mean, I just know it. Everyone invites you to their league, so I figured you're everyone's favorite buy.
Yeah, they all want to win.
I'm like the Red Cross giving money out, you know?
Exactly. That's why you get invited.
They're tax write-offs for my, I give money to charity.
Yeah.
I'm on the low.
Don't say that too loud, Mus. You're on camera.
Yeah, that's true.
The gift that keeps on giving. But today we're going to have fun. We're going to do a wide receiver and quarterback post-NFL draft buy. We're going to go over some guys that we felt were like kind of big winners out of like post-free agency, post-NFL draft. Like players that we already liked maybe, but maybe we even feel a little better about.
Yeah, and then some just with the ADP, like drafts that we've been in where we're seeing just are maybe way too low or just a little too low.
Crazy stuff happening, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, we've been in some startups, and me and Ann were talking about this, and I know Moss and Ty, we were in a couple together. Like, we've seen some players just, like, really falling down the boards. And
yeah.
I mean, we really want to go over some of these guys that we like and maybe you can get for a decent price.
Maybe you can get your hands on before Musk gets his greedy little dick beaters on him.
Yeah. That's right. Don't call us, we'll call you.
That's right.
But a couple things to mention here before we start. Of course, we're going to mention our friends over at Peak One Sports Network. Them guys are awesome over there. They have all kinds of sports shows. They talk all things sports all the time. We team up with them. We're their exclusive fantasy football podcast over there. A lot of good guys. If you're a sports junkie, you'll love what they're offering over there. They go over all the sports, football, hockey, MMA, golf, NASCAR, you name it. It's over there. They try to go over all that and spread all that, and they do all kinds of different shows, a lot of interesting stuff. You won't be disappointed in that. That's a really good thing if you're into sports. Go over and check them out on Twitter at Peak One Sports Network. And, before we hop into this quarterback and wide receivers buys episode, we're going to go over here to the breaking news with Mus.
All right, big news. Jags signed Dan Arnold.
Ooh. All right. Hey, Arnold.
Yeah. And no surprise here after drafting Anthony Richardson, but the Colts released Nick Foles.
Yeah, and they have Gardner Minshew in the wings.
Yep.
At least Gardner gets something good that happens to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. NFL schedule released tomorrow. They announced there's 14 playoff rematches. That's kind of cool. There's a Black Friday game this year for the first time.
Cool.
And all games are free agents network-wise. So I don't know what that means. So I guess there's a bidding war on networks.
I hope it don't come to where you're paying this person and that person to watch a freaking football game. I mean, it's...
Yeah, because, every Sunday or every Thursday, you look forward to them games.
And I like to watch the Pirates. I like to watch the Penguins, but I'm not getting local cable and paying all this bullshit for it. It's just, it sucks. It's too bad.
It is. Yep. It is.
I wish they would go local on like Channel 2 or you know what I mean.
Yeah,
that would be nice if they could get something worked out.
Yeah, you don't want to be paying Hulu and Amazon Prime and
already.
Peacock.
Yeah. I already have all of them, so if that happens, I'll be okay. But
right.
but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, like the people that pay for actual
Yeah.
cable, and then you got to pay the $9.99 here.
Get a hold of us. We'll stream it to you. We'll pirate it.
Yeah, don't say that on camera.
I'm playing.
There we are saying a bunch of illegal shit on camera.
We're off and rolling today.
I remember, I got a story, though, real quick. When I was younger, I don't know. I mean, I probably like 10, 11. I remember my uncle, man. He had this huge thing with all these satellites, man. He had like 10,000 channels. We got to watch naked news.
That's awesome.
Shout out to my uncle. I'm not going to mention his name just in case he can go back, but it was a pretty cool setup.
Yeah, I just want it for the naked news.
Yeah, I mean, you can go down there, whatever. It was cool.
The things you find in the hills of Western Pennsylvania.
That's right. So going back to that, teams could be on Thursday Night Football twice.
Oh boy.
And not all teams are guaranteed to have a prime time slot, so
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
And this might be kind of interesting. The Dolphins signed Tyler Kroft
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
because they didn't pick up a tight end in free agency or
in the draft.
well, I mean they picked up Tyler Kroft now, but
Yeah.
the draft or prior to this, so
Right. They would probably be rolling with what? Durham Smythe and
and they traded that Hunter Long to the Rams. I do
Yeah.
remember that.
yeah.
Yeah.
kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is. That's a little bit different.
Yeah, that Matt Arzia, or how do you say it?
Ariza or
Yeah,
Yeah.
They said he was not present during his alleged, we won't have to get into that, but
Yeah.
so no charges are being pressed, so
Yeah, and he was named the punt god. I mean,
And
Yeah.
he's a heck of a punter.
wonder if they may have, released him, because of all the
prematurely, yeah.
right,
Yeah.
because of the stuff that was going on. Which I mean, if he's innocent, that's too bad.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
hopefully
it
he
is.
just gets
That's-
another chance.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
that's-
should get
that's
another chance.
right. But you wonder, how old is he? Is he that old?
I don't think he's very old.
No.
So, I mean, as a punter, hell, you could be, in your 30s and be perfectly fine. But
Yeah.
I would think he'd only be in like his mid-20s.
I think
just
so.
the thing is, though, like you can almost find anybody, to come off the street. Not saying like one of us, but
Right,
somebody
the
that's half decent.
Yeah.
There was this one YouTuber that would do crazy kicks.
Yeah,
You guys ever
I
seen
know.
him?
I know him.
Yeah.
It's like Destroyer.
Yeah,
destroying something like that.
Surprised he didn't get a job. I mean, he's in the Canadian League or was.
There's some story about him to where it's either he had to choose his NFL career or YouTube career, and I think he chose.
Oh, it's
YouTube.
college. Yeah, there was between college,
or
yeah.
YouTube, and he chose YouTube, but he has.
The NFL might have frowned upon because he did.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
he
that
makes quite
guy's
a bit of money.
22 years old.
Is he? That's all he is.
Yeah.
Oh, he might get a second chance. And
Hopefully he does.
yeah. I mean, if he's innocent, then he deserves a second chance.
Yeah. 22 years old. So,
Wow.
yeah, maybe he should get a second chance.
Well, if he can kick field goals, he's not going to go to San Francisco. They drafted a guy in the third round. So
Henry Ruggs granted a plea deal. He's going to serve 3 to 10 years.
no, I'd say his career is over.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That just shows don't drink and drive. I mean,
Yeah.
Got to be smarter than that.
Try to be a speed racer.
and even if he serves his 3 years or whatever, I mean, he took a life that's going to be with him forever, and obviously with the family forever. So
Yep.
it's too bad.
It is. Foster Monroe and the Saints agreed to a 3-year, $12 million deal after his whole.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, is he clear? Like he's okay now?
That I don't know.
I think he still has to go through
still has to go through
treatments and
treatment.
stuff, but I think they were just trying to help him out.
Very cool. Well,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Classy move by the Saints.
Yeah, it is.
So I mean, if he can heal and everything, he's got a 3-year deal.
Wow.
I think $8 million of it's guaranteed. So,
Wow.
Cool.
But that's all I got for the breaking news.
I'm surprised, Must. I thought there'd be more.
I know. It's kind of a slow news day.
I got to give you credit though. Every week you come up with stuff. So
Yeah, I try to
Well,
find.
what about Kareem Hunt, the Broncos?
That's a rumor.
Right now. Oh, what about that?
We're not here. We're not here to talk.
That
about
ain't news. That's fake news.
Yeah, that is fake news.
Somewhere Javonte shaking in his
No, come on.
boots. Come on, Kareem, get him.
Well, that and I saw the rumor Blake Willis might not make the 53.
I seen that too. Man, may
Yeah.
not.
Don't surprise me.
No, me
Yeah.
neither.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that for him, I mean, Malik was a project coming in.
Yeah.
But that probably was the worst landing spot for him in
Yeah.
a throwing offensive offense.
Yeah.
So, hey,
like I said, when they did the option with him, I thought, it was kind of half decent. But
Right.
if he goes maybe to an offensive mind, maybe they can work with him a little bit. At least make him maybe a sustainable.
he'll probably be going to the Rocks League here soon. What's that called?
Yeah.
XFL.
XFL, yeah.
Which, hey, I mean, I didn't make it to the XFL, so, not trying to shit on the guy.
Yeah, better than we are.
Yeah. We're just criticizing everybody that's a professional athlete, telling them, they're not that good and stuff.
I appreciate you going over that, Mus.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, you always find good stuff.
Yeah, like I said, we're not here to spread fake news, Tom.
Well, you better hope it ain't fake news.
We need to dress Mus up as anchor man here next time for the YouTube video.
Maybe we'll do that around Halloween.
Yeah.
Well, one thing about Mus you got to say, he calls it right down the middle.
Yep.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. I'm not biased.
Yeah.
I knew that would get a rise at a time.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we're going to hop in, fellas. We're going to do these post-NFL draft quarterback and wide receiver buys. So we're all going to have one quarterback each, one wide receiver each. Going to change the order up a little bit. Maybe we'll go quarterback, receiver. See what you guys think. But we're going to start always, like we always do, over here with the A-Train to our right. And who is your first post-NFL draft quarterback buy?
Another little bit of a funny story. It was somebody else at first, then I changed it. I literally did research all morning.
Skirt.
And I was like, so if you like this player, you should probably sell him. And it was Kirk Cousins, just because of his age and everything. So, but I did switch it up, and I think Kirk Cousins is a good buy for a contender. I think we can all kind of agree, but
Definitely.
I'm not doing that. I'm doing Daniel Jones, 25 years old. I thought he took a really huge step forward last year. Looked pretty good. He's quarterback 9 in 16 games. Only threw for 15 touchdowns, but only the 5 interceptions. We know that's something Daniel Jones kind of struggled with for a little bit, throwing interceptions, fumbling the ball. His head was too big and falling down on long runs and not scoring. So that play still kind of haunts me.
Well, that was fun.
Sure, it haunts him too. He did rush for 708 yards and 7 touchdowns last year, 5.9 yards per carry. That's quietly close to Josh Allen's numbers on the ground. Allen had 776, 6.16 yards per carry, 7 touchdowns in 17 games. So kind of a stat that I was like, wow, that's eerily close to a guy like Josh Allen.
Oh, yeah.
Not saying he's Josh Allen, but he was also only thrown to guys like Richie James, Isaiah Hodgins, Darius Slayton.
Yeah.
He didn't really have anybody. Wandale got hurt. So it'll be nice to see Wandale back this year.
Yeah.
Maybe he can kind of help contribute.
Shepard, too.
Yeah, Shepard, being healthy, which it just seems like he's always hurt.
Yeah.
Kenny Galladay, he's out of there, thank God. They do bring in Darren Waller, who I think is going to be excellent for Daniel Jones.
I agree.
They bring in also Paris Campbell, who was I think he was a first-round pick.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was.
Was it out of Ohio State, right?
Yeah, a very early second.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it's not, it's a very early second. And they draft Jalen Hyatt, who, could end up being, a big steal here. I'm not the biggest Hyatt guy, but I do think he's faster than what his 40 gave him. Mm-hmm. He's going to be somebody that can stretch the field, and I think will help guys like Darren Waller and even Paris Campbell underneath. His weapons getting better. Still not great. I would love to see them maybe bring in, T. Higgins if he's available next year.
Yeah.
And Ayuk. I would have been calling about Jerry Jeudy. Just somebody to help out. A little more experience. Some of them guys did look good. My favorite thing that I did see with them is that real high QBR, 60.8, which was 6th in the league. So
Wow. That's impressive.
I didn't know that.
yeah, that really, really improved for him. And I think a big part of that's just Brian Dable. He won Coach of the Year. We seen what he did with Josh Allen in Buffalo. So I'm not going to go crazy on Dable here, but before, obviously, we know he's with the Bills. He was a tight end coach for New England from 2013 to 2016. That was prime Gronk years.
That's true.
Yeah.
So that might really help out, the whole Darren Waller thing, which therefore helps out Daniel Jones. 2017, he was Alabama's offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. The quarterbacks on the roster were Tua, Jalen Hurts, and Mac Jones.
Wow.
So, and then obviously he went to the Bills the year after in 2018 with Josh Allen. So, another thing that I absolutely love is Jones is tied with the Giants, signing the 4-year. Potential out in 25, but that 4-year deal. So, he's going to be tied there a couple years with Dable. And I think things are only going to get better for the Giants. I really do. Not just saying that because I'm kind of a secret Giants fan. We just need Jones to stay healthy, continue progressing with his arm. I mean, only 15 touchdowns isn't great, but if he can do 25 next year and still run for the same amount, I mean, I love the floor for that. So I think that ground game gives him a pretty safe floor. I expect him to be a quarterback one once again. So, I mean, with the upside of a top, I don't know. I don't want to say top 5, but maybe, top 6 at the most.
Yeah.
I mean, Kirk Cousins was quarterback 6 last year, so I think he's, can beat Kirk Cousins.
And you look at it, man, you see the receivers that Kirk has.
Yeah.
It's like Daniel Jones hasn't had that luxury.
Yeah, he hasn't. And that's honestly why Kirk was my buy. And then right here, 35 years old, but the floor could fall out fast, I put. At the end, I give up a late first if you're contending. If not, everything I just said, I'd use him to sell to a competitive team. It's like, I can't use him.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're an impartial Kirk fan.
Yeah.
So am I. I can't lie. The guy puts up numbers year
Yeah.
after year.
Yeah.
But, like going back to that, he has Jefferson, now he's got Addison, he's got Hawkinson, Kirk does.
Right.
He had Thielen for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones has not had that primary target. Now getting Darren Waller, that will help take a step.
Yeah.
And they just seem like they got a variety of guys. They might not have a true number one, but they
Right.
got a variety of guys that maybe could help fill in some of them voids to get some of them catches.
I just feel like he's proven, like I look at it. Me and Musk made a trade today. I traded him Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, and Zamir White, right? Mm-hmm. For Daniel Jones, which he's kind of banking on upside because you won it not
2
last year, 2 years ago. So you're trying to kind of sell and completely rebuild. But like Trey Lance is being drafted over him. Like, man, he's quarterback 9.
And that's the next point I was going to get to you. Like, we've seen him, like, we picked him up, like, 5th round sometimes? I mean, like, but, like, even 4th round. I think I can talk for all of us here in a super flex draft.
Yeah.
Especially if you didn't get one of these big-time quarterbacks.
Right.
I would be more than happy to take him in the
I
first
would
round.
too. I mean, the only reason why I didn't in other drafts is because I was afraid the Giants weren't going to re-sign him.
Yeah.
Now the Giants signed him. It's, wheels up for me. Like,
Right.
that's the best thing that could have happened.
Right.
And I know, Ty, like, we talked about that too, like Daniel Jones in the 4th. Like, that seems to be, like, especially, like, if you're in the middle back end of that 4th.
Yeah.
And if he's still there.
Yeah.
It's two guys that always come to mind in that. It's Pickett and Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Them two are so low on the list. And really after that, it's a lot of the older veterans and then the guys that just aren't very good. So I think both of them are fantastic picks.
Right. Like some of the questions I have, like guys that go around him, like Tua.
Yeah.
Like, that's close to me just because Tua has Hill, but then you think about the injuries. It's
Exactly.
like, would you maybe lean Daniel Jones?
I probably would. Yeah.
I probably would,
If it wasn't
too.
for the injuries,
You're right, because of his weapons.
Yep.
But
And the stability with Daniel Jones, because I'm like you, I don't want to keep going back to that point, but with Brian Dable there, it just seems like he knows how to press the right buttons for him.
I want to take a guy that's not super old that I think with his rushing ability has the ability to finish like in that top echelon. Like, who's a guy in this tier that I could see jumping? To me, it's Daniel Jones. Like,
Right.
The sky's the limit.
yeah. I mean, I don't ever think he'll be that Patrick Mahomes, like the Jalen Hurts, like up into that tier. But I mean, maybe the tier below. Could he finish like around Herbert?
Yeah.
I think possibly. I mean, that might be a little aggressive, but
And I'm surprised by the rushing numbers, like what you said about like Josh Allen and him. Like, that
yeah,
surprised me.
kind of surprisingly
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, in fantasy, we look for that stuff.
Yeah, one thing
Yeah.
that's interesting to me, I didn't know that he was tied to the Patriots there during Gronk years.
Yeah.
I mean, you even look at Cody Bellinger, like nobody expected.
No.
He broke out of nowhere. So Darren Waller might be.
Oh, Dan Bellinger.
Dan Bellinger.
Dan Bellinger.
Yeah,
Or, yeah,
Cody
sorry.
Bellinger in the
Or
MLB.
sorry, yeah, I'm thinking Dodgers. No.
But yeah, I know. I mean, he
yeah.
kind of broke out of nowhere. So I think Darren Waller's a great buy. I mean,
Waller might be a great buy.
Do you guys think Jones's value gets hit a little bit if Saquon holds out for this year?
I don't think that helps.
Yeah.
I don't think it helps at all. But I think that they know that, and I think they're going to try everything they can to get Saquon on the field.
I think
but
they have to.
If not, I would not be surprised if you see a Kareem Hunt there,
Fournette.
a Fournette,
Yep.
a Zeke. You know,
Yep.
them
Yeah.
guys are still available. And I think if you see one of them go to the Giants here before long, that tells a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
because I do like Eric Gray, but Eric Gray is, you know, he's 205 pounds and runs a 4.64. So I mean,
Hey, don't worry. He gets the opportunity. You never know. But no, I'm with you, man. Daniel Jones, I love all the facts you had on that.
Yep.
And like we talked, if he's there, especially if you didn't get one of these big quarterbacks, if he's there in your 4th round and you need a quarterback, I would pull the trigger on that.
Oh,
Don't even hesitate.
Yeah.
well, let's just try one other thing. Would you rather have Daniel Jones or A. Rich? I'd rather have Anthony Richardson.
I would too.
Personally.
I would too.
I don't know about you guys. You're a little lower.
I would too. I'd just sell. I'd just trade him.
You just trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think so because, like Ty, I mean, maybe look for it because the value of him is
His
so
value's
high.
so high,
Even if you're
yeah.
not comfortable with him, the value's too high.
Oh, way too high.
How about C.J. Stroud?
I'd
rather
rather
have
have Daniel Jones.
I'd rather have Daniel
Yeah.
Jones. than
So
C.J.
would I.
Stroud. I
So
would.
do I.
Bryce Young.
I'd rather have Jones.
Jones
too.
Yeah, and
That's-
Bryce Young
yeah.
and Stroud's going 2nd round
Yeah.
in some of these drafts.
That's what I mean. I mean, these
Yeah.
guys haven't proven nothing.
Yeah.
So could you get Daniel Jones plus? You know what I mean? If
Right.
you had one of them guys.
That makes good sense. Like, could
So-
you get like Daniel Jones in a 2nd? Or
Yeah, could
know,
you even get a first?
That'd be,
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
you
I
could
bet you
pull that
could.
off,
Yeah,
that would be
I
great.
bet you could.
I'd love to get like a Daniel Jones and like a Zach Wilson, Trey Lance kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Try to get 2 quarterbacks.
Try to get a couple quarterbacks. So.
Yeah.
Man, you really like Trey Lance, Miles.
I don't know. I'm kind of
But Trey Lance is being drafted over him in some leagues.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's what's crazy
That's
to me.
ludicrous to me.
right.
That's what's crazy. I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Danny Dimes not getting no respects. We call him Danny Dollars now because he did get paid.
He did
Yeah.
get paid.
So
Danny
right.
Quarters.
that's it. No, we graduated to quarters, Danny Quarters. So everyone, I'm telling you, like we mentioned, if he's there, you need a quarterback. I think I'd take him more than some of these unproven guys.
Oh, yeah, especially for a quarterback too.
Yeah.
Definitely. We're going to come over here to me. We're going to hop into the receiver pool first with me on this one. And I'm going to go with my post-NFL draft wide receiver buy. It's one of my favorite unsung hero type players. I'm going to go with Christian Kirk, wide receiver, Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Christian Kirk's a big winner coming into this season for a lot of reasons. We see Trevor Lawrence progressing. Last year, man, he looked really good compared to his first year. I said it really was like he's playing his rookie year this year compared to last year. And, man, you know, if the ball would have bounced right a couple different ways, they had a chance to beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead. So,
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, I think, you're going to see a big jump with Jacksonville this year. I'm trying to get in early on some of these teams. Jacksonville's one of them specifically. But they're bringing in now Calvin Ridley, and I think a lot of people are getting scared off Christian Kirk. I'm not scared at all. The big thing is I think this helps Kirk more than it hurts him. You got a big-time target coming into Jacksonville. He had nobody there with him last year other than Evan Ingram playing at the tight end position, which, you know, we all know he's hot and cold. But, you know, he's getting a legitimate, you know, receiving threat to help him open up more. He's played this role before. We've seen it with the Arizona Cardinals. He wasn't the alpha there, but he's just such a high-volume, high-catch guy. And it just seems like Trevor Lawrence has such a chemistry with him.
Yeah.
And he finished wide receiver 11 last year.
Yeah.
And, you know, all the people, like I always laugh about this, they laughed about him getting that kind of money. Now it's starting to look like a value deal for Jacksonville.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
So-
he said he was going to prove everybody wrong, and he did.
Yep, he did. And I think now what you're going to see is, like, we always want to get into these Kansas Cities, these Buffaloes. To me, Jacksonville's this team that's on the doorstep.
Yeah.
And if you can get Christian Kirk for a first-round pick, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to go super high. I mean, we're not going to go top 4 or anything like that. But if I could get him, you know, anywhere probably from the 6 to 12 range for a first, I'm taking it because this receiver class, I just don't have as good a feeling about in the first round. I think there's better value in the second round with guys like Jaden Reed, Rashee Rice. So if you need a bona fide receiving threat that you know you can trust and you feel comfortable with, I think he's the guy. 26 years old. He's got probably 3 or 4 good years left in him. Love it. Like I said, the high octane offense in Jacksonville. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think Christian Kirk, listen, he's not somebody that's a sexy pick. Like,
No.
He's not somebody you're like, oh, I got Christian Kirk. I just got him in a best ball today. Like, I love Christian Kirk this year.
Yeah.
I think Ridley's going to open a lot of stuff up, and he's kind of a main slot guy.
He is.
Trevor Lawrence just loves to target this guy. I mean, I'm looking at the playoffs here. 14 targets in both their playoff games.
Yep.
Christian Kirk won me some money in draft.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I love the guy. I mean, he's a touchdown machine last year. How many touchdowns did he have as well?
Oh, quite a few. I know, like that was
8. I mean, that's pretty good for mainly in the slot.
It is.
Evan Ingram hasn't signed a franchise tag either. So that could even be more targets if he were to hold out.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram hasn't been able to stay healthy either. Last year was one of his only years. He's kind of mainly been healthy since, his rookie year?
That's it.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
And it's
a guy like Lawrence who just seems to ascend. I mean, you're going to see him peppered with targets again, and he's going to be the guy that everybody's like, sell Christian Kirk. What can you get him for, a late first? Early second?
And everyone's scared of Calvin Ridley at the moment. There's people taking Calvin Ridley over Christian Kirk.
Yeah,
We're in that
and
West
we haven't
draft.
seen him play football.
I know. And he's old. I mean, Calvin Ridley's older than Christian Kirk.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so that really don't make much sense to me either.
No.
Yeah, you see a guy that's heavily favored by the quarterback, a go-to target that he knows he can trust.
Yeah.
And like Andy said, Evan Ingram, I think, is more of a threat to Christian Kirk's target share than Calvin Ridley is.
Yeah.
And I really think Calvin Ridley will help because there were some games when Jacksonville would come up against some better teams. It seemed like he kind of got shut down a little bit more, but whenever they could just focus all their emphasis on him,
Right.
it made it a little easier. But now with Calvin Ridley coming in,
Yeah.
I think he's going to finish right around the same. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm buying Jacksonville.
Yeah, me too.
I'm buying the hype.
Now, to me, Christian Kirk just reminds me of like a Robert Woods.
Yeah.
Not a sexy
Yep.
pick. Always going to finish right around that high-end, mid-end, wide receiver too. So, yeah, I love it, man.
If you're a contender and you're one receiver away from possibly winning a Super Bowl, I would rather gamble on Christian Kirk than like Zay Flowers or Quentin Johnston.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the right process, really. I mean, what's Zay going to – I mean, I like Zay, but,
Right.
I mean, really, if he finishes, wide receiver 11, or what did Kirk finish?
11. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, holy shit.
yeah.
That's it.
And again, he's only 26, so it's not like he's an older guy.
No, he's not that old either.
You're still going to get good value for him with what you spend, whether it be an early second, late first, mid first. Like I
Right.
said, if you just don't feel comfortable with the receiver class like I do, I think that's just someone you can put your chips on, and I'm feel comfortable with it.
And I think the amount of money that Kirk got on that deal shows a lot that Jacksonville truly believes in this guy.
Yeah.
They're going to use him. They don't want people to be like, wow, what a bad deal.
Yep.
Like, they want to prove that, hey, we gave this guy the money for a reason. We believe in him.
And it further represents really the fact that they really didn't bring in any pass catchers during the draft. That wasn't their main focus. Like they feel good with what they have.
Yep.
And they should, because it worked out well with Kirk last year. Now you add in Ridley. If they can get Evan Ingram taken care of to a degree, I'd say sky's the limit. Trevor Lawrence, he's taking the step. I mean, I think this year he could be low-key one of the best players in the league.
Oh, I agree.
Yep.
So really like Jacksonville. I'm buying the hype. We're going to cruise on over here to Ty. We're going back to the quarterback pool. Ty, your first post-NFL draft quarterback buy.
Yeah, I have Kenny Pickett. I'm not being biased here, just from what I seen last year. People are way too low on Kenny. He showed really promising signs last year. His stat line wasn't very good, but I think it was like 7 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. But he did a lot of good things. I mean, you could just tell that he's so accurate when he needs to be. He's a clutch player, and they're building everything around him. He had quite a few interceptions last year compared to touchdowns, but a lot of them were tips and just drops by the receiver. And
Hail Marys.
One was a Hail Mary. Yeah. So, I mean, some of them were on Kenny. You can't take that away from him, but a lot of them were a little fluky. He had a terrible O-line. He's getting chased around all year. Really, really tough schedule. So you got to factor in all that kind of stuff. Coming in the new year, they bring in Broderick Jones, who's we're thinking going to be an absolute beast, and Nick Sumalo from Philadelphia. And if anything, from Philadelphia's O-line is gold right now. So the run game's going to be better, and that's going to be able to open Kenny up a little bit, maybe even get him to get out of the pocket and run. I know last year he had the best completion percentage when he's being blitzed. So that's really impressive too. George Pickens, I'm a big George Pickens guy. I think he's going to be an absolute stud this year. And now he's got a third receiver in Allen Robinson, who I think is going to be really good. And then on top of that, Darnell Washington's coming in. He's either going to be a blocker or he could even help in the passing game. So
yeah, I really love the Kenny Pickett buy as well.
I do too.
Because
I do too.
I agree with you, Ty. We watch a lot of these games because, Steelers are our team. We watch them. I mean, a lot of these interceptions were a lot of tips, a lot of fluky, like Ann said, Hail Mary type stuff. But there was instances, too, where he was just trying too hard. I mean, they were trying to put a lot on a young quarterback when we had no running game. But you look what they did. Look what Omar Khan did, bringing in all these hogs up front. We really addressed the offensive line, which I think was a big problem for not just Kenny Pickett, but the whole team. Then you bring in Allen Robinson, a veteran receiver that can help out in that regard. Darnell Washington could be the steal of the tight end class, getting him in the third round like they did. So really love Kenny Pickett's upside. I think a lot of people are sleeping on him. And again, like Daniel Jones, he offers rushing yards too.
Yeah. He is mobile.
Yeah, he is. And I think people forget that. But, I love it. What do you guys think?
One thing about Kenny here as I'm looking, and I remember hearing the stat, and I can't credit where it was. It might even been an announcer. But after the bye week, he only threw one interception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to remember Trevor Lawrence's rookie year, man. He threw I don't know how many, but
yeah, he didn't look
quite
good.
quite a few interceptions. Whenever you're coming into the league, everything's faster. He's supposed to be the golden boy.
Yeah.
Like everybody, everything Trevor Lawrence, which I do love Trevor Lawrence now, but it's a little bit scary year one. And I think you could see the same thing. You could see Pickett maybe not go into the Lawrence tier, but take that big step.
Yeah.
Like they got weapons, they got offensive line help. Washington's going to help. So I really love the Kenny Pickett buy, and I think you could see him easily finish as a mid to top tier quarterback too.
See, that's what I was just going to say. I could see him going from quarterback 12 to 18.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a huge step.
Oh, that'd be a huge step for him. Huge step for him. And with the rushing upside, if the touchdowns come, we could see him in the upper tier.
Yeah. And
Great quarterback too.
Yeah, and I love his attitude too.
Yeah, I do too.
All the stuff you hear about him, he works hard. I remember them saying about the Super Bowl, they asked him on media day, he was at the Super Bowl, they said, "You go into the game, Kenny?" He said, "No, because I want to be here when I lead us here."
Yeah.
So his attitude's correct. I love it. He does care, and I think he's going to work on his craft and get better. But yeah, Omar Khan, the big thing is here, hats off to him.
Yeah.
I really think he's done a great job with our team. And all in all, I think that's going to help Pickett take the next step because I think he's going to be more comfortable. He's going to have more time. And like you said, Najee Harris, another guy we're high on.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like the dog in him,
I do too,
when that
man.
Bills guy hit him late and he got up and shoved him.
That was DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know who that
Yeah,
was.
They were teammates too in the pit.
Yeah.
And it just shows his competitiveness.
Right.
It really does. But I love the Kenny Pickett buy, Ty. It's
I
a
do
good
too.
one. That's a low-key one. Love the rushing upside, too. We're going to go over here to Muss. We're going to hop into the receiver pool with him. Muss, your first post-NFL draft receiver buy. Who is it?
All right, I got Treylon Burks. He's currently 23 years old. Coming out of college, he checked all the boxes for me. He had the size, speed, college production. He had the draft capital. But he didn't have a very good rookie year. He only played 11 games, injury riddled. And for a couple of them games, he had Josh Dobbs and Malik Willis throwing him the ball.
That's tough. That's tough for anybody.
I actually wrote down Malik Willis in 8 games at 276 yards and no touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't do any research on how many games Treylon was actually healthy for Malik's games, but that's terrible.
Yeah, that's not good.
So, the situation can only go up with them drafted Will Levis. Ryan Tannehill isn't what he used to be, but he still isn't no slouch. And then they were 29th in the league with 26.8 pass attempts per game. So,
right.
He wasn't getting many targets. Well, he did lead in target share, but he wasn't getting many targets.
It's not a lot, yeah.
Right. So they are a very run-first offense, and they have Derrick Henry currently. Everybody knows all the rumor situations and everything around that, but anytime you have Derrick Henry, your offense is going to run through him.
Right.
So... in my opinion, he definitely has room to grow.
Yeah.
And right now, his ADP is wide receiver 29.
Yeah, that's too low.
That's way too low. Wide receiver 1, 23 years old. Worst wide receiver room probably in the league.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they didn't draft anybody.
They didn't. No, they drafted a 7th rounder that I honestly I couldn't even tell you who it was. So and I was looking, Pickens and Ayuk are ahead of them in ADP. I know you're a big Pickens guy, but I think Burks is better than Pickens and Ayuk.
Yeah.
I think they're close on both of them. But I mean, target wise, who else did they have? Like
Kyle Phillips and whatever.
Westbrook-Akine.
I don't.
Yeah. So like, even though they're a run heavy offense, I mean, can you not see him not getting 100 targets if he's healthy? Like easily, he should get 100 targets.
Yeah, he should get 30% of the target. Yeah, you would think.
Yeah, and I'm guessing if he gets, let's say, 100 targets and he catches 80 balls, like 110 targets, 80 balls.
Here's an interesting stat too. He has 12.4 yards per target. That's higher than Waddle, Metcalf, and Higgins.
Yeah,
and then 5.4 yards after the catch was 12th in the NFL.
See, when I scouted Burks, I said he might be a little bit of a project guy. Like I remember we talked about this, TJ. Like I wanted to see him kind of used as like a Debo. Like I kind of wanted to see him get some reverses and stuff. And I hope they do that. Like I hope year 2 is his breakout year. I would easily give a 23. Let's see, 110.
Oh yeah,
1-9. I mean, I'd rather have him over Zay Flowers. I'd rather have him over Quentin Johnson. Me personally.
Addison would be close, I think.
I think that's where it gets real close.
Yeah, that would be close. I'd rather probably have JSN.
Yeah,
and then Addison would be real close. But.
Yeah, and that's like going back to what I said about Christian Kirk. It's the same thing. Like if you don't feel comfortable, I'd rather have Treylon Burks and them guys anywhere from like 1.7 to 112.
Yeah,
I'm completely fine with that. And
me too.
And like you said, it's such an athlete. Like I like what you said about like get the ball in his hands.
Yeah,
like for Tennessee, you got to find creative ways to do that. And really, I'm really liking the buy of Treylon Burks because what is Will Levis? He's throw it down the field.
Yeah.
What is Treylon Burks? He loves to go down the field. So it could be a pretty match made in heaven. Ryan Tannehill's clock's ticking.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know Levis is going to get the keys to the car here soon.
Yeah.
It's just how soon.
And Vrabel's a bit of like, I feel like he has that old Patriot in him where like young guys might not play as much.
Yeah.
So we didn't see a lot of Burks.
Right.
So I think we're going to see way more Burks this year. I mean, I know he struggled with health and everything like that, but towards the end of the season, you did see him a lot. I mean, he had the 8-target game, 4 for 66. So, I mean, yeah, I think we're definitely going to see him, and I think we're going to end up seeing him used in some wide receiver like pot pat, like the little shuffle plays, shuffle plays,
and
and
5.4 yards after catch. I mean, that's good.
And that's what I seen.
Get the ball in his hands
in college. Get the ball in his hands and let him work. And I mean, he's 6'2", 225. He has that alpha, type body type. So.
Yeah, and there's none of those really in the draft this year outside of JSN. So if that's your kind of prototype receiver.
Yep.
And I caught a lot of Titans games down the stretch because I think since they were in it, like they were more on primetime TV.
Right.
So, like, one thing I will say that I noticed, it seemed like he got better as the year went on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's another thing to hang your hat on.
Yep.
But I really like the Treylon Burks buy, and like Andy said, I think like the target hoggingness of it.
Yeah.
The only other person that can maybe stop him is Okonkwo as far as targets, but he's just a tight end.
Everybody's still holding on to Kyle Phillips. I mean, Treylon Burks is way better than Kyle Phillips.
Right.
Like, I mean, let's just be honest. And I think for them not to draft a receiver, even though it's a little bit weaker of a class, but they didn't even draft like an Xavier Hutchinson or anything. So that speaks wonders. They must really like this guy.
Yeah.
They must figure they're good.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're going to go over here to Ann now. We're going to come back over his way. We're going to go jump into the receiver pool with him and your post-NFL draft receiver buy. Who do you have?
It's actually another guy from that class, and it's Christian Watson, 23 years old, finished as wide receiver 41 last year in 14 games. He was hurt for a stretch. Week 2, he played 32%. Week 4, 25%. Week 5, 29%. Week 8, 9%. Week 9, 23%. Week 16, 38%. So you could just tell he wasn't right for a while.
Right.
So really, it's not even the 14 games. I kind of just look at it as pretty much the first 9 weeks he just wasn't right. But from week 10 to 18, he was wide receiver 1 4 times. And week 18, he was wide receiver 13. So the highest wide receiver 2 you could be. I love his size and speed. I mean, 6'5", 208. He was a guy out of North Dakota State who Lance was throwing to that just stood out to me. And you get a little bit scared because it's a smaller school, but when he went to the combine and tore it up, I just knew, like, he fit in.
Right.
I got scared because of the drops. He had the big drop against Minnesota. I think that was week 1.
Yeah, it was early. It was early.
Yeah, it was real early. I'm like, shit. Like, and everybody was just blowing Dobbs, and it's like, Dobbs ain't it.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
you did call it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just never been a Dobbs guy. But week 12 against Philly, when Love did start, he went 4 for 110 and a touchdown, which Love only threw for 113 yards. 110 of it went to Watson against Philly. So basically, he caught everything from Love that game. Love should be looking more towards Watson. I mean, I know we really like Jaden Reed. I know I really like Luke Musgrave. I think a lot of us here like Musgrave as well.
Yeah.
But they are rookies, so I'm projecting him right around 135 targets for next year, which I think that's pretty good. I mean, yeah. I think I could definitely happen for him. Some of the downside, though, I just want to see him stay healthy. I mean, him not being healthy, hopefully that's not a reoccurring thing. We don't know how good Jordan Love is. I mean, I know we like him and like Love's upside, but it still is a little bit of a question. So,
right.
Which I don't think he can be much worse than Rodgers from last year. Rodgers was, older, didn't do the best. No veterans are present. Lazard's gone. He's a part of the Jets crew with Cobb. And, Robert Tonyan's gone, so he's going to have to really step up. So, I mean, yeah, it's good from a target perspective, but you don't have them veterans telling you, like, hey, man, you got to do this, you got to do that. Like, that's going to help you. So I think the upside's there. He's a player that I've liked, and I'm just excited to see him get the target share and kind of get the keys to the offense, and hopefully he can take advantage of it.
Yep. And another guy, and we're going to keep stressing this with these receivers, this is another guy that we all believe, hey, you know what? If you don't like Quentin Johnston, if you don't like Zay Flowers, and you have an opportunity to get a guy like that.
I would take him over Addison, too.
Would you?
Would you? I would.
Yeah, it would be real close for me. But, I mean, like, this receiver class just wasn't near as good as people hyped it up to be, like, when 23 started.
Yeah.
Like, everyone was 23, 20, 23, 23. Well, now it's kind of like, okay,
right.
Even the running backs kind of took a little bit of a hosing in that class. As
Yeah.
good as it was.
Yeah.
But all in all, same principle. I would easily be willing to give up a mid-first for Christian Watson if I needed receiver help. He is a big play guy.
Yeah.
And I really like what Green Bay's doing, man. I really love it. And that's why we're going to hop in over here to me now. I'm going to go right back at you here. My quarterback post-NFL draft buys, Jordan Love. A couple reasons. Going back to what Andy said earlier about the players they added. They added 2 tight ends. They added Tucker Kraft. They added Luke Musgrave. Really like both of them players. I think that's a nice pickup. Absolutely love Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed's one of, if you watch this show, you listen to us, he's someone we've been high on through the whole process. He got really good draft capital, them picking him in the second round. So they bring him in. They still got Romeo Dobbs, who I do believe that Jaden Reed will overtake this year at some point. I think that's his job. It's going to be only a matter of time, but still a serviceable player. And then you add in Christian Watson to that mix. Mm-hmm. I mean, a big play guy. I don't know. I just really like what the Packers are doing. And I like these dual threat quarterbacks for fantasy. I mean, Jordan Love can move around. He's not a statue.
Yeah.
Just like Daniel Jones, just like Kenny Pickett. I mean, we look for these extra points. And I don't know. I mean, I'm willing to gamble a first on Jordan Love. I'm not going to go too high. I'm not going to give away a top pick.
Right.
But if I could get him for a first, I'm willing to gamble because in Dynasty, it's a young player. You take a shot in the dark. It could really pay off for you.
Yeah.
I mean, he did look semi-decent when he did come in and play against the Eagles. And the Eagles are a tough team. Mm-hmm. So I think there's only room to improve. I do like Matt LaFleur's style offense. I think he's a really good offensive mind. Not quite on the level of like a Dable or someone like that.
Right.
But you look, when Rodgers had them MVP years, he was the coach.
Yeah.
So it was his offense. So, and two, Aaron Jones, old reliable, still there.
Yep.
A.J. Dillon, if you need a tough yard, I know it's Ty's favorite player. He can still get you a yard if you need it.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can't deny he's Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. He is. So he got to play behind a Hall of Fame quarterback. Yeah. How much did Rodgers show him? I don't know, because I think he's a little salty of them using the first-round pick on him. Yeah. So he might have taught him all the wrong things, but I'm going to say he's a good guy and taught him the right things. No, but in a short amount of time, whenever he came out, I know when we scouted him, we said, sometimes he throws a ball that I'm like, wow, what a throw. And sometimes it's in the second row of the seats, and you're like, what the fuck was he doing?
Yeah.
That's just how he played. So I think taking a little bit of time and them setting was the best thing that could happen for him.
Yep.
And I think I would definitely be willing to gamble a Quentin Johnson, a Flowers, even a Will Levis. I think I would still gamble on Love. I mean,
just because of the structure of the teams.
Yeah, I like the structure of the team. I like the coach. I like that they brought him in help, like right off the bat. And whenever you have a bunch of young guys like this, it's not as much pressure on a guy like Love. Like, he's not throwing to like some Hall of Famer or like somebody like Stephon Diggs or something that's going to get mad.
Odell.
Remember,
they did that with Baker.
So, like, somebody that's going to put a lot of stress on him. Like, I think you're going to see a heavy dose of Aaron Jones. Yep. You're going to see some nice, simple, short stuff, and hopefully you can just take advantage of it, man. Like, I really like the buy.
Yeah, and this just goes back to, like, I just trust Green Bay, too. They're one of them. They're one of them teams that I always feel good, like, okay, they're a well-run organization. They're going to do a lot of the right things to help him out.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel. I would gamble. I've always said I'm low-key in on them after the draft. Really like what they did.
Yeah.
But we're going to go over here to Ty. We're going to hop into the receiver pool with him. Ty, your post-NFL draft wide receiver buy. Who do you have?
Yeah, really disappointing player last year, but I got Gabe Davis. He actually had a solid year, real sneaky. 48 catches, 836 yards, and 7 touchdowns, but we really expected a lot more out of him. I mean, he was really garnering a lot of value last year, so I think I'm going to gamble and say that people are going to be a little discouraged with what he did last year. Maybe might give him away for, I don't know what you guys think his value could be at the moment, because I really haven't seen many trades involving him. But I feel like this, if he's going to go off, I think this could be his year. They didn't bring a receiver in at the draft. They very well could have, but they went tight end and Dalton Kincaid, which that's interesting because they already have Dawson Knox, and they signed him to a contract. So they're obviously pretty happy at their receivers, and Singletary's gone. James Cook's the running back now, and he's more of a pass catcher, so maybe they'll throw the ball even more. Who knows? But I think Gabe Davis, if he's going to go off, this is his year if you can get him for the right value.
I think honestly you could probably get him for a second now.
Yeah, second, third.
I think you could have him for a second. I don't know about a third. I mean, a lot of people with that Buffalo offense will probably still be like, oh, I'll just hold on to him,
Yeah.
But finished receiver 36 last year. I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't like horrific either.
Right.
I mean, he's like a splashy player, Gabe.
Now, does Kincaid scare anybody? Because, I mean, they're going to...
It does.
I mean, they
if they put him in the
Knox.
slot.
Exactly. That's what I'm worried about, because they paid Knox.
But they also got rid of McKenzie, so that kind of... I mean, I just think Gabe Davis is what he is. I mean, he's probably more reliable to your fantasy team than what he's even worth. Like,
right.
Like if you get a second for him... The only thing, if you give a 24 second, would you rather have Rashee Rice or Jaden Reed? Like, if I can get him for a third, I think he's more of a throw-in piece. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
Yeah. I think he's more of a guy that's like, oh, just give me Gabe Davis. Like, he's in one of the best offenses in the league.
Yeah. His first half, he looked real good, and then the whole Bills offense kind of just went downhill from there.
And there was rumors about Josh Allen and his girlfriend and the whole like
Stephon Diggs blow up on the side. I did see
that. And it was something about like, did Josh Allen get somebody pregnant or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a bunch of shit that we don't really know.
Apparently the shit hit the fan like the day before that playoff game.
I heard that too.
That's why Diggs was flipping out on the sidelines.
Yep. So
honestly too though, like I really like this approach though.
Yeah.
Buy the dip on Gabe because it's low right now.
He's only 24.
Yeah, he's only 24. It's so low right now. And he's such a streaky player. Mm-hmm. If he comes out and he does like, what he could do, and he could get like around that top 15 echelon.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, you could sell him for probably a good amount.
Oh, yeah.
We were saying to buy him for a first.
Over one playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, I think if you're on the clock in the third, maybe you can get him for that third. I mean, I'm with Andy. I mean, a second, depending on who's on, like, where the second is.
If it's a later second, then hell yeah,
second,
I'm about it.
Later second, earlier third.
But yeah, throw them on there. I mean, if, like you said, 301 or something.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's like, oh, shit, this guy fell. You get Gabe Davis. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
get him.
I'm all for it.
And two, also, I mean, like, I've noticed too, I don't know how you guys, we've done so many rookie drafts and we're still doing them right now.
Yeah.
But it seemed like when they first started, Rashee Rice and Jaden Reed were more towards that back half of the
starting
second
to come
round.
up some.
Now I'm starting to see him from like 2-4, 2-3, 2-5.
Yeah, I've seen him even sneak into the back into the first, Rashee.
Yeah.
So.
It's like the book's out now. So
Yeah.
I'm with you guys. Like if it's like probably anywhere from 2-7, 2-8,
Yeah.
I would feel good about it because I'm sure them guys will probably be gone.
I think a good move to make too would be like maybe a veteran like if you're not competing, would you give up Mike Evans for him or something? Like I think you could get plus.
Right.
Yeah, could you give up like Mike Evans and get Gabe in a third or something?
Yeah, or Gabe in a second. Like
You could try it.
I think it's a great throw-in piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. That
yeah,
would
I
be
couldn't
interesting.
give up Mike Evans straight up for him. Yeah, I'm crazy. I can't do that.
But I mean, that is good strategy, though. I mean,
Yeah.
you're looking ahead. Mike Evans got what, maybe a year or two left,
Right.
you know. And if you could get a third or a second on top of that,
Yeah.
I think I might do that. That's pretty interesting. So, really like it. I really like Ty's idea on that. That's buying a dip. That's a guy that could be streaky, that could take off. So I really like it. Mm-hmm. We're gonna go over here to Muss, and it's the last one. Muss, we're going to the quarterback pool. Your post NFL draft quarterback buy. Who do you have?
This is a guy that I wasn't really high on up until the NFL draft was over, and that's Desmond Ridder. I honestly thought he was going to be replaced. I thought they were going to draft somebody, or then they were supposedly in the Lamar Jackson hunt, but like supposedly Atlanta came out and said that they never called Baltimore about getting Lamar. So like that to me speaks like they're either in on this guy or they're just kicking the ball down the field, I guess. But but right now his ADP is quarterback 31. There's 32 teams in the league. I mean, they're just starting quarterbacks out there that I'd take Ridder over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But they were a top 15 scoring offense last year, which I found that interesting, and they were a top 3 running team. But now they add a healthy Kyle Pitts. They're adding Bijan Robinson, which Bijan Robinson should open up that passing attack. I actually have wrote down Ryan Tannehill's best year as a quarterback was 2019, 2020, and that was with Derrick Henry plowing the league. Mm-hmm. So a good running attack will definitely open up and help Ridder. They drafted a second-round guard, Matt Bergeron. I think that's how you say it.
Syracuse, yep.
So, I mean, that should help bolster that line. That line was already good.
Yeah.
But it'll, help. And then I looked up his RAS score is a 9.62. Like, he's athletic as hell. His speed grade was elite.
Wow.
They just never ran him.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, because
Probably are handing the ball off every
well, yeah, but like, I mean, you think if you're a run first team, you'd run your quarterback, but
Not Arthur Smith.
But I actually saw, and it surprised me. I didn't have him ranked as number 1, but some experts ranked Ridder as the number 1 2022 quarterback coming out.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, that's a little high.
That's a little high, but that's something to consider. Like I said, I mean, them just not drafting, they had the opportunity to trade up.
Right.
They didn't, I guess, make any phone calls to try to trade up. They didn't take Will Levis.
Yeah.
They could have took Will Levis. They could have even took Hooker.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I just think he's a super good gamble as a quarterback 2 or quarterback 3. And how many starting quarterbacks that are 23 years old can you trade for in a super flex and not give up a first?
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Because, I mean, I traded him in one super flex league for Rashad Bateman straight up.
Wow.
Like, and then a 24 first and a 23 third.
You going for a 23 third?
Or no, so I traded a 24 first,
Uh-huh.
and then I got a 23 third and Ridder back.
Ridder back.
Yeah, so I mean, you don't even have to give up a full first.
Right.
The only scary thing with me with Ridder, I mean, I with his value there, it's fantastic, but like, is this his like chance to be the guy, and then they just run the ball all year, and then he's out the door?
See, I could see that, but like, I think for that gamble for the price, I mean, he could easily be a quarterback 2 or a quarterback 3 and a super flex.
Yeah, and he's going to provide value, and I love this rushing upside, like you were saying.
Yeah, I didn't
realize he was that athletic.
I didn't either. until I looked it up, and I was like, wow.
Now, Ritter to me is somebody that I think a lot of people slept on, and I said even before the process, like, I feel like he's pretty safe.
Yeah.
I feel like he would survive the draft. Like, I was more worried about Lamar than I was any of these quarterbacks. For them not to even take a hooker, I mean, they bring in Taylor Heineke. We know what Taylor Heineke is. He's just kind of average. Now, I think Ritter will definitely win that job.
And in that last super flex, I got him at the 9-1.
Wow. That's pretty late for a guy that's going to start. You know, I'd rather have him over Sam Howell.
Yeah.
I mean,
Baker,
a lot of
Mayfield.
people.
I'm just sitting
I'd
here
rather
trying
have
to
him
think
over
of
Baker. That's what I'm trying to do as well. So,
Yeah.
Hey, Bruce Arians said Baker would have been graded above any quarterback in this draft for him. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, he said that.
In this year's draft.
and I don't think they're really in the Caleb Williams sweepstake because
No,
they're not that bad. And then they're taking guys like Bijan, so I think they really feel like they're going to compete in that division. So.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got a nice young supporting cast. I mean, Drake London, Kyle Pitts,
and then now Bijan.
Yeah.
And that division's wide open. I mean,
Yeah.
let's be honest. I mean, like, it's anybody's ball game. I would say my gut says I would favor probably the Saints.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, of everything that they have, the kind of way they're built. But all in all, like, I think anybody has a shot at it.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I like that. And, like, that's the point of this show, guys. Like, we're going post-NFL draft. We're looking at, like, the winners, like, the people that survived and thrived. Not just the people that survived, but like, okay, what did you add to help? You know, is there anything that like improved? And it's not even just post NFL draft. It's like post free agency, kind of after last season. Like, how's things change? How are we feeling? You know, like we're feeling good about these guys. Like, if you can get them for a fair price, all the guys we mentioned, I think you're well served to do it.
Yeah, I do too. I really like that buy.
So I was just sitting here thinking, you know, I'm in a league like that league that we just made that trade in. I got Aaron Rodgers. Would you trade Aaron Rodgers for him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you're not competing, hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I even like a move like that. Like if you have Stafford.
Yeah,
like,
if
that's
you
what
have
I mean.
Stafford trying to get
Quarterback
him.
31. Like, that's just crazy to me.
And two, like, I mean, you know how it is, like, if you're a rebuilder and you're approaching a contender, if someone, look what the Jets gave up for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could say, give me a second and Ritter. I mean, someone would probably do it if they needed to win.
See, and I would rather try to trade one of these older guys that aren't going to be around long like Rodgers for him and then you could use your first to go somewhere else. Like, because like we're using first on guys like Zach Wilson who just didn't pan out. Like,
Right.
I mean, I think this could be the gamble. It might be the right move.
Yeah.
Who would you rather have, Ritter or Mac Jones?
Oh, Ritter.
Ritter.
Yeah.
What about Ritter or Will Levis?
It's close to me.
Yeah, that would be close.
Because
probably Ritter.
in our draft, I took Levis over Ritter.
Yeah.
That's super close.
I think I'd rather have Levis.
Yeah.
It's
Because I'm like Ty, like I really agree with what you're saying, Moss. Like I really like the fact that you're getting them where you're getting them in the prices you can get them for.
Even coming out of that draft, he was my second quarterback in that draft.
Oh, yeah.
Because we didn't like Malik coming out.
Yeah, so like we feel good about I really like what you're doing, but like with Levis, I just feel like he has more of an opportunity.
Ceiling. Yeah.
And
He's
more-
got more of a ceiling.
Yeah, and he has more of a chance of opportunity because I'm like Ty, like the only thing that's scary with Ritter is if they just come in and hand it off 9 million times, they go 4 and like 13.
And try to get Caleb Williams or something.
how about Geno Smith?
Oh, I'd rather have Ritter.
I would too.
Because I mean, unless you're competing,
yeah,
if
for
you're
sure.
competing, I think Geno's a great buy.
That's just the scary part. If they suck this year, because Arthur Smith is not a good coach.
No.
They get Caleb Williams or May.
Drake May probably scares me more than Caleb Williams. But there's some bad teams.
Yeah.
There's some bad teams.
There is.
Yeah, see, I think in the NFC, I think they're going to win enough games where they're not. And the only thing is they could trade up, but
They could trade up or maybe call about. You'd think they maybe would they call like about Trey Lance or like you know what I mean, but they didn't.
right.
They didn't this year at least yet.
Yeah.
And Trey Lance is like, I mean, now that the Lamar stuff's done, like he's the biggest wild card out there.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what's San Francisco going to do? I mean, they can do whatever. Like they're so set, like they can just sit on them. But yeah, they could trade him in any minute, and it's like it could just change everything.
Yeah.
So that is something to watch out for. But I really like the logic, Muss.
Yeah, I do
That's
too.
really
Yeah.
good to get that out there.
is.
Yeah.
Because if you can get them for them prices and get them that late in a draft,
Yeah.
I think that's really good.
Yep.
But this is going to wrap up the post-NFL draft receivers quarterback buy show. Like I said, guys, these are guys we just have really good feelings about. They survived the draft. They survived the free agency period. They've gotten help. They not only survived, they thrived. That's what I say. They got more help. I think things are looking up for these guys. But next week, we're going to do, I think, the tight end and the running back post-NFL draft buys.
Yep.
Then we got some fun stuff coming up. I mean, I think we're going to be getting some more mock drafts. I know Musk said about doing a 21, 22, 23 joint draft to see, like, maybe who we'd take.
Yeah.
That will be fun. Ty has a really good idea of tic-tac-toe football. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to that. Like, a little fun episode maybe we'll do as an extra show. Mm-hmm. And we got all kinds. We got rankings. And I'll tell you, the post-NFL draft rankings are starting to come out on DynastyDNA.net.
Yep.
Yeah.
Me and Andy got ours out.
Yep.
I
got mine.
Yep. Ty and Muss will be coming soon.
Yep.
They'll be on there.
I think mine's probably the most important. I'm just messing with you guys.
Well, at least more important than Muss's, right?
Oh yeah.
But you guys got to go over to DynastyDNA.net. I'm telling you, it's a treasure trove of fantasy football information. Anything you need at the click of a button, it's there. All the podcast episodes, all the YouTube videos, all the articles. We got so many good writers over there. Me and Andy write some stuff. Mike Kashuba writes over there. Aiden Grover, Can of Fantasy Football. Preston Evans, a new friend of ours, a new friend and writer. Shout out to him. He's putting out articles all the time.
Yeah.
And they're really good. I mean, like, he did one on Mac Jones. Do we believe in him, or did we think that, he's done? There's like Elijah Moore, real or fake? Are we in on Elijah Moore? So there's a lot of interesting stuff and twists about players over there. So you got to check all that out.
Definitely.
So you want to get ahead on your draft. DynastyDNA.net is a great tool. When you're not listening to the show or checking us out on YouTube, go over there, and it's all there at the click of a button.
Yep.
But a couple things to mention here before we hop off. As always, follow us on Twitter at DynastyDNA_. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Pod, Stitcher, Google Podcast, Amazon, iHeartRadio. I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones out there. Follow us over there, guys. You can hear all the shows all the time. We appreciate the support. I say it week in and week out. You guys are the best. The DNA Strand crew, we're growing. We appreciate you guys. Also, check us out on YouTube. Follow and subscribe over there. Comment. Again, guys, I know I mentioned like Twitter, YouTube, whatever. There's so many rookie drafts going on right now. And I know over the weekend we were fielding a lot of questions. If you guys have any questions at all, you shoot them over to one of us personally on Twitter or over on the Dynasty DNA page, and we'll be happy to answer or try to help you in any form or fashion. But this is going to do it for this episode, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of Dynasty DNA.
See you guys.
See ya.